Hello, hello. How is everybody today? So excited to be here. So, today we are going to be discussing crystal skulls. Super excited. So, just going to give everybody a second to jump on. Um, hey, Amber, how are you?
Welcome. This is Rachel Chamness, your host of this channel, Sound Waves Heal, and this video is a spotlight for a master practitioner at Sound Waves Heal who has completed most or all of my courses and is a master channel. You'll find a new video almost every Saturday of a practitioner or a current student, as it's my mission to empower and uplift my students.
So, while everybody's coming on, I'm just going to quickly call in the angels before we start. Archangel Raphael and Mary from the east with the element of the air. There's swirling green energies moving through our bodies to heal us. Archangel Michael and Archangel Faith from the south with the element of fire and electric blue and light blue energies clearing us and helping us to see the truth inside of us and inside others. Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Hope from the west and the element of the water, helping to cleanse and clear us, removing anything of a lower vibration so that we may be clear channels. Archangel Uriel and Archangel Aurora from the north with the element of the earth, with the ruby red and golden energy and rose gold energy, helping us come into harmony and balance, helping to light our paths forward. And of course, Archangel Metatron above us, holding the stellar gateway, igniting our ascension pillar of light, and Archangel Sandalphon below us, holding our earth star and anchoring us deeply into the earth, into Mother Gaia. Thank you, angels, for surrounding us in this sacred space. And I intend this for everybody watching here now and anyone that watches the replay.
Please enjoy this excerpt of one of our Tag Mentorship Membership weekly lives with Sound Waves Heal Master Practitioner channels and healers.
Excellent. Oh, got everybody coming on. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Today we're going to talk about crystal skulls. I'm really excited about this because I know it's not a topic that is talked about probably a lot, and people may not know a lot about it. I know I certainly didn't when I first started down this ascension spiritual path. I'm sorry, I got a really big download like right before I pressed go live, and my heart was beating really fast, and I was like, oh, stop, I gotta go live, and I don't know what that was about. I think it's the crystal skull energy, like it's just so I had to ground myself for a little bit, and I still feel like I'm trying to do that, so I apologize. I had to grab my obsidian. Okay, so where was I? Oh yes. So like if you're like me, I was never really drawn to crystal skulls, honestly. I was never really drawn to crystal skulls and or skulls in general. Like I'd go into a metaphysical store and I'd see them and it was obviously a thing. I was like, what is that about? Like, I just don't get it. It doesn't resonate with me, whatever. So I just kind of ignored it and let it go. So I don't know. I guess at some point on my crystal journey, I started seeing more and more of them. And honestly, I took, I did a crystal energy guide certification with Carl Gray, and he, as a little, like an add on to that, he did a crystal skull workshop. And I guess that's what really started me working with them and understanding really what was going on. So that's what I just kind of want to share a little bit for everybody. And one of the things that he said was, whatever you feel when you look at crystal skulls, like your initial impression is often what's coming up to be healed. So like for me, when I first saw them a couple years ago, I was like, it's kind of creepy and I'm confused. I'm confused about why I would want to even go there, with a skull. And so I guess that confusion was coming up for me to be healed because I wanted knowledge. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But some people don't ever feel that. They feel very drawn to them. They feel lots of love and clarity and things. And, so they may not have, some, some of you may not have anything to be healed, so to speak. But I know I did, to kind of remove that block so I could see it. So I'm sure most of us have heard of the legends of crystal skulls, just a little bit, even, Indiana Jones, the Legend of the Crystal Skulls, or whatever the name of that movie is, the last one of the Indiana Jones movies. But that's probably the most mainstream place that it's been. But I know we also talked about Atlantean times where they had the 12 crystal skulls and they were all clear quartz and one was amethyst. And um, there's so many legends and stuff. I'm not going to get into all of it. You can kind of go down the rabbit hole there and read about that if you are not familiar already. Um, but do know that the fascination with skulls, I guess, in current times, kind of started in the 1800s, like mid to late 1800s, early 1900s, when they started being unearthed or uncovered. I think most of the I'm going to call them ancient crystal skulls because that's what I feel they are. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, most of these ancient crystal skulls that are in the world today, most, not all, are have been discovered somewhere in South America. So I do get kind of a South American vibe a little bit. You had a little fear and hesitation too. Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, I wasn't drawn to it, but now I am. So or I'm opening the door. There's so much to learn. How can you know it all? Oh my gosh, right? So anyway, I do feel like most of them, or no, most of them, the ancient skulls have been somewhere in South America. There's been a couple like in Tibet. I mean, I don't know all of them. Seriously, there's just way too much to know. So these ancient crystal skulls that were mostly found by archaeologists or something, and they were completely formed, mostly clear quartz or milky quartz. There was one amethyst one, which is amazingly incredible. I've seen pictures. It's in a private collection. I haven't seen any of these in real life, but the amethyst one is in a private collection, not like on display for the public. So anyway, they have names. Like the most famous one, one of the first ones known was the Mitchell Hedges skull. Um, Amar is another one. Rainbow. They all have names. You can go look all that up. But I just wanted to tell you about it. Like you can go to the website. I think it's crystalskulls.com actually. And it's like a legit website that sells legit crystal skulls and skulls that have been activated. So we're going to talk about the ways that they're activated too. And so you have to use your discernment as in everything else in every other area. Not all skulls are created equal, so to say, or come from the same place. So these ancient crystal skulls, they already have like this energy within them. And what I believe, modern people that are trying to debunk all the spiritual stuff have said these are fake, or most of them anyway have been said that they're fake. It's all made up, and one of the reasons that they say this is because when they analyze it and do all their like modern analysis stuff, like in the 1990s, they found that the markings, like these little tiny markings, you can't see with the naked eye on the skulls that they used to carve them, could not have possibly been made by like the stone or wood carving tools that were around a couple thousand years ago, right? If these skulls really came from Atlantis, they're a lot longer ago than that. But so they determined since these markings could only be made with modern tools, that it can't be ancient. It has to be like a hoax and it has to be made in modern day with our modern technology. Now, this is just me. The way I interpret that is, well, yeah, because it was like made in Atlantis with technology that we have forgotten and we don't use right now. So anyway, that's just my take on that part. But these ancient crystal skulls have this connection already in them. They're already activated with various different energies. Okay. And that's what has created all this mystique and stuff around them, because they bring forth a different way for us to connect. How like Lemurian seed crystals have the things and the stuff is stored into them. Same concept with any crystals, but when it's carved into a skull, it's supposed to mirror the human brain. And I've read stuff that said, in Atlantis, everybody had one, and it was like a computer, and it would, the crystal skull in your home would connect to the the great crystal skull of Atlantis in the temple of Poseidia, or how do you say that? The great crystal, which I found really interesting because I have this crystal that to me resonates with the great crystal of Atlantis energy. It's just a smoky citrine, but I always keep it next to my crystal skulls. Like not intentionally, but like I don't know, I always do that. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know there was a tie in there, but so apparently there is. So anyway, that's kind of where it started. And like I said, these skulls can bring us a lot of different energies, connecting us to divine wisdom above and below. I think one thing that's important to say is, they're made of the earth, right? And there exists something called the crystal skull divine matrix. If you think about, okay, the earth has been here billions of years. It has been through so much. If you think of like our soul's journey and what the things that we have learned, think about the journey of the earth, all the different phases and things that it's been through. It's processed and learned so much. There's ancient wisdom deep in the earth, in Gaia, and there's this crystalline matrix that permeates all of that and has absorbed all of that. And when you have a crystal skull and tune into its energies and it's been activated, then it can access that divine matrix. It can help us to connect into that divine ancient wisdom of the earth. They can also help you connect to above. I mean, there's lots of ET crystal skulls, that connect to star beings and things, or just a regular crystal skull that can do that too. But I think maybe the majority are helping us to connect us into the ancient wisdom of the earth. What does he call it? The divine matrix of consciousness and infinite earth intelligence of Gaia. So that's kind of, and I think that's really cool because, we spend so much time connecting above and wanting to, aim high and raise our vibration that sometimes we forget to really anchor into the wisdom of this planet that we chose to come to. And there's so much that's been stored and coded in the earth, that we can access and that we've had past lives here. And I do think that we can access wisdom from especially Atlantean, Lemurian times, but any other times really that anything can come through a crystal skull, right? So along those lines, well, let me show you mine. These are the two that I use the most. Oh gosh, it's already really warm. That's why I was getting downloads. This one is, let me find the camera, Rainbow Fluorite. And I did get this I got it from a seller on eBay who had activated it with, I can't remember the name of the skull it was activated with. So she did activate this one. And then its friend is this Golden Healer crystal skull. I can't remember where I bought this one, but it was not activated. I did that one myself. So anyway, these two crystal skulls like to go together, right? They like to have friends. And to me, these two go together and they have like a divine feminine and divine masculine energy that comes through them. And this one kind of connects me to like pre-Lemurian times, and this one connects me to Atlantean times, but they both bring about energy to help me with healing work. And I see like the sound waves and the vibrations and stuff. It's really fascinating. A lot of stuff that I don't really understand too comes through. But anyway, it's said that the crystal skull is like a place for the energy or the divine being to come into and connect to you. So like you're tapping into the divine consciousness, right? And part of that consciousness, whatever it is that you need, depending on you and depending on the matrix of the crystal, the actual crystal, in this case, rainbow fluorite, the energy comes through that you need. So you may get something totally different from a crystal skull than someone else who is a guardian of it. You're called a guardian of a crystal skull. All right. A lot of the famous ones, they pass hands. People are guardians of them. Um, so you may get a different name than somebody else who has the same skull. That's why, like, later we do the activation, like, you can use mine and see what comes through for you. I can tell you what comes through for me, but it will probably be different for you in the same crystal. Um, I'm looking at my notes because there's a lot of stuff. So like I said, when you're connecting with the crystal skull, it's not that the energy is inside it or the being that you're connecting to is inside it. It's more like a portal or a gateway to that divine consciousness. I I personally haven't connected to like an ascended, like a known ascended master or a known like angelic or star being or something. It's been different energies. Like to me, I see going back to that divine matrix, that consciousness in the earth. Not to say that can't happen. That just hasn't been my experience. So I feel like it's a different way to connect with these different energies, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna activate He-Man and She-Ra. That's awesome. I love that. I love that, Gia. Yes, I'm gonna talk about the activation in just a minute. I was just doing a little background on the skulls. And look, if y'all have any questions, let me know because there's so much information I can't even like go through it all. But I just kind of wanted to hit some high points. Okay. Oh, this is what I wanted to say too. Like when I was talking about how they connect to the divine matrix and the being is not housed in them, think of it more as like a divine or spiritual walkie-talkie. So you can hold this and you can, tune into another dimension, like a walkie-talkie that can communicate through across dimensions and with other energies and sending you wisdom and intelligence that you used to have access to, maybe in a past life, or that you might have forgotten. Then it brings up things to help you heal and grow. That's what He-Man says to activate himself. Oh, by the power of Grayskull. Oh, dude, you're right. Yes, he does, Chia. Oh my God. That's awesome. And Skeletor, that castle, my brother totally had that castle. I have to think about this. Isn't it amazing? All these little things that are in like mainstream that we don't even pick up on until we can see. Um, so crystal skulls are like master healers. They connect us with wisdom and they help with healing. Galactic skulls are quite different. Probably so. I don't have any, so I don't have personal experience with them. I'll be honest about that. Um, it's not that I'm against it. I just haven't, gone there yet. So I have those two, and then I have I'll just show you these two real quick. Yeah, the castle. Yes. I know. I loved that thing. It was awesome. I also have a bloodstone jasper skull and red tiger's eye, which I love his little markings like on his little head. And what's interesting to me, like this one, immediately when I held it, oh my gosh, it's buzzing. I felt it connecting me with like it's outside of time and space, and I felt like it was like traveling through time and space. And then I got it was astral travel, and it was the Alta Major, and my Alta Major started buzzing real bad. And then I looked at it. I love looking at them and finding little things, but on the back of it, like right at the base, you see how it's got like it may be kind of hard to see. It's got like a little crack or something right there, like that's just part of the crystal, like right at the base of the skull, like where that would be. And so I was like, woo. It's just cool. I like sometimes just holding them or looking at them kind of gives you insights. But okay, so different ways to work with crystal skulls. Um, so there's a lot of different ways. First, you can just hold it and tune into it. You can after it's activated, you look at it to where you look into its eyes and it's looking at you. So just these are small. I mean, I don't have any big ones, but if you had a bigger one, you could put your hand on each side of it and just kind of gaze into its eyes, so to speak, and just see what you get. Also, when you're doing meditation, there's a couple different ways you can have, you go into meditation and the skull can be in front of you looking at you or looking into you, or it can be to help you see. It helps you see. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to look inside of you, or if you want to face it out from you and help you to see outward, right? Um, you can also, put it above your crown chakra to help. Ooh, I felt that. It'll bring downloads, or a lot of times, actually, I end up putting mine like on my third eye, or I like to do like forehead to forehead kind of thing. I don't know. That just feels good to me. Maybe it's these two. I don't know. I do that a lot with these two. Or like on the heart. I sometimes put them on my heart when I'm meditating. Another thing that's really, really cool, you hold it in your left hand and channel right. So if you just put it, in the palm of your hand and rest your hand on the desk or whatever, and then just channel right, it brings clarity and information, and just kind of see what comes through. Also, if you're an energy healer, if you work with clients, you can put this at the crown of the person you're working on, or at the feet, and have the skull looking at the person, to send the healing energies, and just to help you in general, like it'll help with clarity. Mental clarity is one of the major things that it represents, and it can help you to receive more psychic insights and kind of guide you through the session. Um, it's also, they're phenomenal to make grids with. Size always matters. Size does not matter with the crystals. I know, with the especially with the skulls. I know, and it's so funny you say that, because like Kyle Gray said that so many times. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a teeny tiny one or a great big one. They're so powerful. And he has this little tiny, literally it's this big moldavite crystal skull, and it's amazing. And he even said like it cost him, I don't know, like $3,000 or something. I'm like, yeah, well, my bank's not that big, Kyle. I won't be getting a moldavite one, but he said he talked about what he did with it, and it was really quite interesting, and it's tiny. So what I was saying is, they're very great to make grids with. Like, if you put the skull in the middle of the grid. And actually, if you go to that website, crystalskulls.com, I think they do have some pictures about showing them activating some. They sell crystals that are activated by like the ancient ones that they have in their possession. Or I think it's some crystal skull guardian in Canada, and she has, like, I guess it's a she. I assume it's a she, but I feel like it's a she. She has several of those ancient ones, and she activates the ones she sells with them, and that is one way to activate them. Another thing you can do, like if you have work that you're doing, say you're trying to write a book, or you're, whatever, any kind of work, you can just put it like on top of your paperwork, and leave the crystal skull like as a spiritual paperweight, and just put it there, just to kind of help you be organized and put good energy in it, and be focused and stuff like that. So those are just some ways to work with it. There's tons of ways, but that's just some highlights that I can think of right now. Okay, so like I said, one of the ways to activate is you have one of those ancient crystal skulls, and they're kind of put, I mean, most of them are like this size, they're put in the middle, and then the other skulls are kind of put around them in a grid type way. And so they're all around, and they usually, most of the time I see them looking at each other, like all the way around the grid. And they spend a certain amount of time, and there's kind of a little ceremony around it, where the skulls that are being activated are connecting to the energy of the primary skull. And then, so like when you get, and I can't even remember the name of the one that this one is activated to. I don't think it's important what I mean? It's whatever energy you get from it. But then when you get the skull that was activated, like they sit there for a certain amount of time. Like, I don't know all the specifics because I've never done it. Obviously, I don't have one of those skulls, but there's a certain ceremony, and they kind of sit for a certain amount of time. And when they're ready, then they're given to whoever. But I'm sorry, my phone's still on. So anyway, then it said you're connected to that energy. So there's certain ones in different parts of the world, like those famous ones that have certain qualities that are that they're known for. Like, one of them is really connected to opening psychic awakening. One of them is really connected to healing, just different things. And so people are like, oh, I want the energy of that skull. I want my skull to be activated by that skull. So anyway, that's the first way to activate a skull. The other way, like if you're like me, you might have a lot of other skulls that weren't activated by any skulls, or you may not even know that that's a thing. So we can activate these. And this is how I activated this one. Actually, Since this one was activated with the main one, I could activate all my other skulls with this one if I wanted that energy, right? Or I could just activate it, and we're going to go through a little meditation. Um, Mine is super tiny too. I know they really do, like, it's really interesting because I have four, and for some reason these two like each other. They go together, and those two go together, and it's weird. So in case you don't have one, I'm gonna try setting up mine so you can see that. I'm just gonna do these two because it's too hard to get like all four. Can you see them? So you can pick one of those to connect to if you want, if you don't have one right now or just don't have one in general. And if you want to activate a skull that you have or you procure, you can do that later. You can watch the replay. Okay. Or you could also do this with any crystal. You know, it's a crystal activation. This is specified to skulls, but you know, you could use another crystal if you wanted to. All right. And I do have my third eye chakra crystal singing bowl, so I'm going to kind of do that a little bit just because I thought, you know, we're opening our third eye energy, connecting to ancient wisdom, all that kind of stuff. I did forget to say that the crystal skulls are, you know, I talked about how they're connected into the divine wisdom of Gaia, of the earth. They're also very connected to Gaia's gateway. So, you know, we have all these different energies connected to different chakras. They tune into the Gaia's gateway chakra. They can really help you connect through that, connect to it. If you're meditating or working and you need to anchor into that energy, you can use the crystal skulls to help with that, or just to tune into it more. Can bring healing through that. I see Gaia's gateway as a portal. And the skulls are portals too. So it's really like it can take you anywhere and it can bring anything through. Okay. All right. Okay. So even if your skull has been activated, if you think that it has, or you know that it has been activated by one of the other skulls, we can still do this. It won't take away that energy, but you could think of it as kind of like a little cleanse. No matter, and this is true for any crystal again, but the more you cleanse it and clear it and charge it, the more effective it will be to work, right? As with anything else. So, and if you work with it a lot, it might just need like a little charge up. So you can do this with, you can just intend this to be with any of the crystals you have around you right now if you want. So if you have a crystal skull, take it and put it in your left hand, in the palm of your left hand, kind of like this, okay? And you're going to have it facing you, and then you can put your right hand on top, all right? Or if you just want to imagine that with one of these two. Into the crystal, just take a deep breath and blow it out. Just kind of sink into the energy of the crystal. Take another deep breath. Feel the light growing in your heart space as you center. And feel the light growing within the crystal as you tune in. See the connection between your heart and this crystal skull. Now, imagine a piercing light coming from the heart of the Earth star, up from the center of the Earth, through the Earth star, and entering into the bottom of the skull. Let the light draw out and draw down any lower vibrational energy into the earth. The earth will instantly purify this energy, and it uses it to grow stronger, wiser, and enrich her being. Just like the earth draws in carbon dioxide into the trees and expresses oxygen, let the earth process this energy and allow her wisdom to hold this. Then imagine pure, clean energy from the Earth star piercing into the crystal skull, filling it with light, filling it with wisdom and energy. Let it be charged and regenerated. Now imagine a light coming from the heart of the cosmos through your stellar gateway and your soul star, and then piercing into the crown of the crystal skull. Rainbow light, crystalline and diamond light rays begin to fill up the skull with life force, energy, and intelligence. See the skull connected to the heavens and the earth. See the skull as a bridge between the worlds. Then see this connection grow, realizing that this skull being is connected to the divine matrix of consciousness, aligned and one with divine consciousness, connected to the central hub of crystal skull consciousness. Now open your eyes and gaze into the crystal skull. If you feel called, repeat after me. Divine and ancient wisdom resting within this crystal skull, I call upon you now. Thank you for coming to the forefront of this crystalline structure. Thank you for bringing your ancient wisdom and for becoming a living consciousness I can connect with. I activate the consciousness within this crystal skull. I welcome you into my world now. Now close your eyes and breathe and let it out. Be open to hearing, feeling, seeing. You may instantly receive a name. You may want to invite the skull to share its name. Let the name drop in. Just receive it. Now take a minute to sit in energy with the skull and receive any messages. When you are finished, we now send gratitude and thankfulness to the heavens, to the earth, and we thank the crystal skull. We thank the skulls here, and we thank any skulls in your possession. Thank the skull for allowing you to be its guardian at this time. So now, I would recommend if you were able to activate a skull, then keep it with you maybe for the rest of the day. Sit it with you. If you're working at a desk, you can sit next to you, looking at you, or if you could put it in your car, put it in your pocket. If you're watching TV, if you're cooking, whatever, just have it right there looking at you or where you can look at it and tune into it. I think having it in your presence and you being in its presence, especially after you activate it, helps to forge that connection. And the more you do that and tune into its energy, it's probably strongest right now because you just did it. So it's good to do it today. But the more you do that, the more you will receive, right? It's kind of like the more effort you put into it, the more you get back from it, that kind of thing. I've definitely get that from personal experience, and I definitely find that. So I have 4 skulls, but I don't use them all the same amount of time, and so I'm much more connected into the 1 and the 2 that I do spend more time with. I get a lot more information a lot easier. I see a lot of things. I feel like the energy is very big and it is very deep and ancient. I get a very ancient vibe from all of the skulls. Energy from a long or knowledge and wisdom from a long, long time ago. So, still on this crystal skull journey. I'm still learning, but that's just some of the stuff that I've gotten so far. So I hope that was informative for y'all. Um, I hope now that maybe we've kind of taken away some of the mystique or I know the vibes that you might have initially got when you're like, crystal skulls, really? Because that's totally how I felt. Anyway, okay. So, I think what I'm going to do today is I will do a group card pull, and then I'm going to be on again next week. I'll do individual readings for everybody next week, okay? What I'm going to do today is I have Kyle Gray Gateway, because it feels like it's good for the crystal skulls, the Gateway of Light activations, and to balance that energy, because I feel like the Gateway energy is really high. I got the dragon cards. I feel like the dragons are grounding. So we're going to see what comes up there. Did y'all get anything from your crystal skulls? Was anybody able to activate their skull? Did they get a name or any messages or insights? You're welcome, Lolita. All right, let's see. Energy for the group. Say, is there maybe anything that we can tune in to help us with connecting to this energy that comes through the crystal skulls? That's what I'm going to ask the cards today. Okay. And get a dragon card. I did get names for mine. I can tell you. This one is Wally, and this one is Honey. You got masculine energy? Cool. Very cool. Yes, the more time you spend with them, the more you will get, I promise. Okay. Oh, well, this is interesting. All right. So I asked about, how we connect more into the crystal skull energy in the first card. And I'm pretty sure that I pulled this the last live that I had for the group. I'm pretty sure. Crown chakra upgrade, divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. Okay, there it is. Is that kind of clear-ish? And it's funny to me because I feel like all the information is coming in through the upper 3 smoky quartz, and I saw rose quartz skull. Ooh, Fred. Oh, I like it. Oh, I love random simple things. I bet you did see its companion when I read that. I felt that too. I got a confirmation, yes, in my head. That's awesome. I want a smoky quartz skull. Sorry. Okay. So I do feel like when I'm working with crystal skulls that the energy, I don't know if it's just me or if this is like a legit thing, but I feel like it connects with the higher 3 chakras in the body, crown, third eye, and Alta Major. Usually those chakras are all buzzing when I do this. So I really liked when I found out that Kyle Gray says they anchor into Gaia's gateway, because I feel like I need to balance that. It can get really, if you're so focused on the upper chakras, it's like you can get out of balance. So I like anchoring into Gaia's gateway, but I feel like this is confirming that when you open up, the crown, you're allowing your body to receive more light energy. And that's all this is just light energy and wisdom, and connecting to the information stored in your soul star, which is all tied back into the crystal skulls too. I think these are all just different ways that we can access the information that is available to us. There's not just one path to the information, it's many paths. So I like it because it's like as above, so below, as within, so without, that kind of concept. Um, the dragon is the earth dragon, which is so fitting. Crystals are of the earth. Crystals are literally a piece of the earth. It says, clears your path and the land around you. Stay grounded, be ready to serve. Stuck energy is clearing and you can move forward in life. And I really do feel that crystal skulls help move the energy. It can unstuck you, and help open things up for you that you may be struggling with. I think any energy work that you're doing, whether it's your own like meditation or your own like self-healing, whatever modalities that you're using, or if you're sharing that with another person or plants or animals or whatever the aspect is, if you have a crystal skull with you, it brings mental clarity. And it kind of, if you think of it this way, if you're tuning into radio frequencies like the old timey kind, not the digital that we have now, and you're trying to find the station, the crystal skull can just adjust it to where the sound wave is really clear, right? And so you can hear it clear and it's not staticky. It's just a purer connection, that kind of thing. So I really like that we get crown chakra and earth dragon. So we're above and below the crystals, which is completely what they represent, us connecting above and below. And I don't know if I said this before, but the image was in my head, or maybe that was in the activation. It's like they are a, what's the word? An anchor point and a connector of the energies of above and below, making it one. Like that's where the oneness comes in. The crystal skull can do that, but also that's what we do. We are the divine and we are the earth as well. And so we bring it all together. Like it's all, you know what I'm saying? Like all in the middle, all is one. We create that oneness. So, yeah. You don't have a crystal skull? Oh, cool. Yeah, I think you'll know, Amy, when it finds you. I never sought to buy one. I was never in the market for sure, because I didn't know what to think of them, and then I saw it and I was like, hey, that's mine. Like it talked to me, it called out to me, and then I guess that happened 3 other times too, because I never really said, well, I'm gonna go buy a crystal skull today. They all just came. And it's interesting because they say that the crystal skulls are you're a guardian of the crystal skull for this time, in this space, and they come into your guardianship and then they leave and go into, and they like to move around a lot, and even like the big famous ones, they move around from different people at different times, I guess, for certain purposes. I mean, even Kyle Gray he talks about his all the time. His main one is Portal Sedona Boy, and he saw that crystal 8 or 10 years before he actually became the guardian of it, and he was very, very drawn to it, and he just knew that one day he'd be its guardian. And yeah, now he makes it has that ancient wisdom in it. And there's this famous carver, and he has this carver make little mini ones, and then he activates them all and sells those little mini ones. I mean, it depends on how much money was spent. Like those that he sells are like $300, the mini ones. Like the big ones are thousands and thousands. Some are $1 million, whatever. But the like main, like the amethyst one and everything. But I think that Crystal Skull's website, it'll have, if you're interested in looking, it does have like really top dollar expensive ones, but it also has some for like $20, $25, reasonable. that have been activated by some of the original ones. So, I like to think like this one was activated by that other crystal skull, and then it came to me, and I did that activation that we just did, and then it was activated to me. So it kind of anchored it in both ways, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, that's pretty much all I have for today, unless anybody else has any other questions. If you think of something later, or if anybody is watching this on the replay and you have a question about crystal skulls, because there's so much stuff, it's like I can't say it all, and I don't know all. I guess I should say that too. I only know what I've learned, right? There's always more. But if it's something that I know the answer to, or I can find the answer to, I'd be more than happy to share what I know. But I'd love to also hear your experiences. If you've tuned into your own crystal skull, or if you've purchased one, they're pretty cool too. So that is all I have for today. Thank you for coming. And reasonable is good. I know, right? I like reasonable. So thank you for coming, and I'll see you all next week, and we'll definitely do individual readings next week as well. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay? Thanks, guys.